Here's another way of using podcasts to support what happens in the classroom. And that is to use a podcast to deliver content to students that the students either already should know. In other words, it might be some basic prerequisite knowledge that students should know before they come into the class. Or it might be information or knowledge that students need to be exposed to repeatedly throughout a course in order to absorb it. Or it might even be material which is simply not very interesting to teach. For example, when I used to teach English literature courses at a university, I did not enjoy teaching grammar and sentence structure to students. What really interests me is the literature and talking about novels and poetry. And so when it came time to talk about things like sentence structure and comma splices, sentence fragments, how to use semicolons, things like that, I really didn't enjoy doing that. I didn't want to spend class time doing that. Students in theory already should know how to do that, and so that was the perfect kind of material to create a series of episodes, a podcast series in other words, in which I explained these various aspects of grammar, and students could then review the podcasts whenever they needed and as many times as they needed, and I didn't need to spend time in class actually doing that. I'm going to show you an example of this now.
Talking about the comma splice, which is a common punctuation error that ESL students sometimes run into. Joining sentences together in this way is okay with some languages. In some languages it's actually necessary, but in English this is a problem.
And the instructor goes on from there to explain what a comma splice is and how to avoid it. And I think this is a perfect use of a podcast in order to deliver that kind of basic prerequisite material that students should know, but which they need to review a number of times before they learn it. And I suspect that almost every discipline, every course, has something like that. It may not obviously be grammar related, but there will be some sort of material which can lend itself to these remedial podcast episodes.